Hello, how are you? I'm a little tired. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is August 22nd, 2022. It's on Monday. It's cloudy outside. Are you in favor of the current government policy? Are you in favor of the government? Are you in favor of the government's policy on COVID-19? The examination to become a national government licensed guide interpreter, is very difficult. The new member of cabinet will be met. The government is going to renew its organization. The government is going to renew its organization. The government is going to renew its organization. The central government sent notices to the prefectural governments. The central government sent a notice to each prefectural government. The company is governed by the dictator. The company has been governed by the dictator since end of 1990s. Countries are governed by their central governments. A country might be governed by a central government. The country is governed by the central government. The company has been governed by the same CEO. The company has been governed by the same CEO. The company has been governed by the same CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Director General. The company has been governed by the same Director General. Do you like to govern a company in the future? Are you interested in governing a company in the future? Are you interested in governing a company in the future? Are you interested in governing a company in the future? In Edo period, Japan used to be governed by Tokugawa shogunate. In Edo period, Japan used to have been governed by the Tokugawa shogunate. In Edo period, Japan used to be governed by the Tokugawa shogunate. The governor of the prefecture decided to hold the event since 3 years. The governor is of two choices about whether to hold the event during the pandemic after 3 years. The governor of the prefecture is of two minds whether or not the festivals should be held. The governor of the prefecture is of two minds whether the festival should be held. The governor of the prefecture is in two minds about whether the festivals should be held during the pandemic. The governor of the prefecture is of two minds whether the festival should be held. Does the price tag include tax? Does the price include the tax? Does the price include tax? Does the price include tax? Does the price include tax? Yes. All of the prices include tax. All of the prices include tax. I don't like alcoholic beverages, including everything. I don't like alcoholic beverages, including beer, wine, and so on. I don't like noisy places, including clubs, festivals, and so on. I'd like to travel many places. I'd like to travel to many places, including Europe, America, Asia, Africa, Arab, and so on. The recruitment will be conducted, including the qualifications the candidates have. The examinations were conducted, including foreign facilities in the world. She ate a good deal of food, including dessert, after the main dish. She ate a good deal of food, including the chocolate parfait, pudding parfait. I joined the inclusive tour because everything was included in the tour, and it was easy. Hotels, and food, and tour guide, everything was included. So I prefer to join the inclusive tour if I can afford to join it. If I can afford to join it. If I can afford joining it. I have to have the inclusive medical checkups. I have to get the inclusive medical checkup. Inclusive medical checkup. Inclusive medical checkup. Inclusive medical checkup. I bought the inclusive set. Everything is included to start the assembly. I ordered the set C, which include everything to assemble the model. Inclusive. I bought the inclusive set needed to start the business. I ordered the inclusive set needed to start the business. I ordered the inclusive version of the computer to make my work faster, to make the reading faster, to make the process of my work faster. I took part in the inclusive tour in which everything was included. I participated in the inclusive tour in which everything was included, including hotels, breakfast, and tour guide. And the tour guide sing us off and welcoming at the airport. Everything was included. So I took part in inclusive tour. Inclusive. I took the inclusive course because I was beginner and I didn't know what to study. I didn't know what I should study first, and I didn't know everything. So I took the inclusive course. I took the inclusive course because it was my first time to study it, and I didn't know what I should start from. I didn't know what I should start from. I bought the inclusive set, which includes everything to start the assembly. Inclusive. I took the inclusive approach to solve the problems. The government took the inclusive strategies to solve the problem, in order to solve the problem, so as to solve the problems. I bought the inclusive set, in which everything is included, to start the assembly. I bought the inclusive set I bought the inclusive set. Inclusive. I bought the inclusive set. I took the inclusive course. Because I was beginner. I didn't know what to study. I didn't know what I should study from. And I even wanted to get a tip for making the efficiency better. Please do not pass up the opportunity. It's a good opportunity to pass up. It's too good an opportunity to pass up. I got an opportunity to go to South Korea, but I was obliged to cancel it due to the pandemic. I had an opportunity to go to USA, but I was forced to cancel it due to the pandemic. People with vision will make good. The fog and mist blurred my vision. 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 I'd like to know your vision for the future. I'd like to know your vision for the future in 5 years from now. Can I know your vision for the future about 5 years or 10 years from now? Because your prediction often hits. Because your prediction always correct. So I'd like to know your vision for the future in 5 years. Since I met the foreign international student, I try to take and think things in a broader vision. Since I met the foreign international student at the university, I try to think things and I try to take things in a broader vision, not in a smaller vision. I try to think things internationally in a broader vision. And thanks to the idol of my vision, a little recovered. But it doesn't mean my bad eyesight has recovered perfectly. Thanks to the idol of my vision, a little recovered. Is it true that our vision will recover by looking at far places? Is it true that our vision will recover by looking at remote places, looking at the distance, looking at far places, looking at far? Is it true that our vision will recover by looking at far places, looking at the distance, looking at far places? Are you a person with vision? I envy those with vision. I envy those with vision. How can they have such a vision? How can they become? How can be a person? How can I be a person with a vision like them? Some people have a vision to see through the future. How can I be the person with vision? I'd like to be one with vision. I'd like to be a person with vision. How can they become a person with a vision? And thanks to the eye drop, my vision a little recovered. Thanks to the eye drop, my vision made clear, became clearer. Thanks to the eye drop, my vision became clearer to some extent, to a certain extent, to some degrees. The fog and mist blurred my vision. The fog and mist blurred my vision. The fog and mist blurred my vision. Since I met the international student at the university, I try to think in a broader vision. I try to think I have been thinking in a broader vision. I have taken things and thought in a broader vision. Since I met the foreign international student, I have thought and taken in a broader way. I have been trying to think in a broader way. I have been trying to think in a broader way, a broader vision, in a broader vision. People with vision will make good. People with vision will make good. I'd like to be a person with vision. 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 Is a creature visionary? Is a creature visionary? There are many visionary creatures in myth or science fiction or movies. There are many visionary creatures in movies. There are many visionary, imaginary creatures, illusionous creatures in movies. Visionary. Are you visionary? I'd like to be as visionary as you. How can I be visionary? How can I be as visionary as you? For example, by looking at the news every day? Watching the world news every day? Visionary. How can I be as visionary as you? Do you check the world news every day? Can I be as visionary as you by watching world news every day? Can I be as visionary as you by watching world news every day? Can I be as visionary as you by watching world news every day? Can I be as visionary as you by watching world news every day? Shachihoko is a visionary creature, often put on the rooftop of the castle. Shakohachi is a visionary creature, which is often put on the rooftop of the castle. There are many visionary creatures in movies. There are many visionary stories out there. There are many visionary creatures in movies. Some of the visionary creatures might be reproduced in the real world. Some of the visionary creatures might be recreated, reproduced in the real world. Visionary, visionary, visionary. Visionary, 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 visionary. Visionary, visionary. Is the creature visionary? Is the story 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 visionary or real? 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 Real. Is the story visionary or real? 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 Visionary, 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 visionary. I'd like to be as visionary as you. How can you become such visionary? How can you become such visionary? How could you become such visionary? I'd like to be visionary as you. Do you check world news every day? Do you check world news every day? The CEO of the company had already been visionary 10 years ago. That's why the company is now thriving. Did you get the notice? Did you also get the notice? The notice was sent to each whom it may concern from the government. Everyone will get a notice by Friday. Otherwise, you have to inform inform the organization of the delay. Unless you get the notice by the end of this month, you have to inform them about that. You have to inform them of it, of the delay. I saw many notices urging the drivers to slow down on the curb, at the curb. I saw many notices urging the drivers to slow down at the curb for safety. According to the homepage, the information from the homepage, the notice was sent to those whom it may concern. The notice was sent to those whom it may concern. It won't until tomorrow that the notice is sent. It won't be until tomorrow that the notice is sent. It won't be until tomorrow that the notice is sent. It won't be until tomorrow that the notice is sent. It wasn't until yesterday that the notice was sent. I saw a notice written bringing back the garbage to home. I saw a notice written no littering. I saw a notice saying no littering. Littering is subject to a maximum fine of $500. I saw a notice saying no littering. Littering is subject to the maximum fine of $500. His red hair was so noticeable that it was not difficult to spot him in the crowd. His red hair was so noticeable that I could find it with no trouble. His visual fashion was so noticeable so that I could spot him so easily. His hairstyle was so noticeable that I could find him easily. Some parents urge their children to marry someone earlier. Some parents urge their children to marry someone earlier. And some parents urge their children to marry someone early. Some parents urge their children to marry someone early. Some employees urge their junior workers to participate in the party every night. My boss urged me to finish the task by today. Some employees urge us to finish our tasks as early as possible. Some employees urge us to finish the tasks as early as possible. Who urged you to work overtime every day? Who urged you to work overtime every day? I'm sorry, I'm in an urgency. I'm in a hurry. I'm sorry because I'm in a hurry. I'm in a haste. I'm in haste. I'm in a hurry. I'm in urgency. I'm in an urgency. I'm in urgency. I'm in a hurry. I'm in an urgency. I'm in an urgency. I'm in urgency. I don't have much time to talk with. I will message you later. Urgency. Urgency. When it is in urgency, we are allowed to go out of the building suddenly. When it is in urgency, we are allowed to finish our work and go out of the building. When it is in an urgency, please stop the work on the way and go out of the building. Try to save yourself. Try to save yourself. Think scientifically. When it is in urgency, the extinguisher will be used to put out the fire. The extinguisher will be used when it is in an emergency, when it is in an urgency, when it is in an urgency. Many tools are prepared in case of urgency. In case of urgency. In case of urgency. Some tools in case of emergency were bought. Some tools were bought in the preparation for the urgency. Some food and drinks were bought in preparation for the urgency. Some food and drinks and amenities and tools were bought in case of emergency. In case of emergency. In preparation for emergency. In preparation for emergency. In preparation for urgency. In preparation for urgency. 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 Are you prepared for urgency? Are you prepared for urgency? Are you prepared for urgency? Are you ready for urgency? Are you prepared for urgency? Do you have enough food and drinks in preparation for urgency? Do you have enough food and drinks in preparation for urgency? Do you do something? Do you have a stock, or are you prepared enough in case of emergency, in case of urgency, in preparation for urgency? I bought a flashlight in case of urgency. I bought a flashlight in case of urgency. In preparation for urgency. In preparation for urgency. I bought a flashlight in preparation for urgency. Is it urgent to play video games now? Is it urgent to play video games? Urgent. Is it urgent to play video games? 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 Yes, it is very urgent to play video games for him. When it is urgent, the real exit can be used. Only when it is urgent, the outside steps can be used. The outside step can be used. Only when it is urgent, the outside steps can be used. What are you setting up? Do you know how to set up the machine, computer? Would you mind helping me set up the tents? Would you mind helping me set up? Would you mind helping me to set up the tables? Sure, not at all. Would you mind helping me to set up the tables? Not at all. Would you mind helping me set up the tents? Not at all. The company was set up 20 years ago. 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 Who set up the computer so confusingly? So confusing. Could you get it back to the normal position, normal setup? Could you bring it back to the normal position, normal setup? Who set up the computer, which made me more confused? Could you get it back to the normal position, normal setup? Could you take it back to the normal setup? Could you take it back to the previous setup? Could you return the setup to the normal position, the previous one? Could you change the computer to the previous setup? Could you change the computer to the previous setup? Who changed the setup of the computer, which made me more confused, and I don't know how to even start the computer? Could you change the setup of the computer to the previous one, previous condition? Could you change the computer to the previous setup? Could you change the setup of the computer back to the previous condition? I talked to the wall, imagining someone was there as a real setting, because there was no one to talk with me at the hotel the day before the presentation examination. I talked to the wall, pretending that there were someone, or especially examiners, as a real setting. I talked to the wall as a practice of presentation, imagining there were examiners in front of me. In this setting, the whale can eat the plankton standing. I mean, with the vertical position. I practiced speaking English in front of the wall in the setting where I imagined there were examiners in front of me on the wall. I practiced listening to English in a setting in which the speed of listening is 1.3 times faster than usual. I trained my listening skill in a setting where the speed of the listening is 1.2 times faster than natural speed. By doing so, I can listen to native speakers speak English a little slower, which will help me to get familiarized myself to the speed. I trained listening to English in a setting in which the speed of the listening was played 1.2 times faster than natural speed. By doing so, my ears was trained and I could get familiarized to the natural speed faster. The examination is conducted in 1 hour, but I try to solve the questions of the test of the examination in a setting with only 50 minutes to put pressure on me to make the setting more realistic at home, because I will get nervous and I will not be able to perform 100%, which I can do at home at the examination venue. So it's very important to make the situation and the setting more realistic by putting more pressure on me in the daily practice. Yes, I try to solve the problems and questions in the examination in a setting with only 50 minutes, although it is conducted in 1 hour. I used this strategy to put more pressure on me, because when I'm in examination site, I will get nervous and I'm sure I cannot be able to perform 100% the same performance as I can do at home because of the pressure. So it is very important to put more pressure on me on a daily practice, which will help and get familiarize myself to the real situation more. Yes, which familiarize myself to the real situation more. Accustom myself to the real situation more. Yes, which will help me to get used to it, be used to it, get accustomed to it, get familiarized to it. I'm sorry, I must ask you to recreate the proposal from scratch. I'm sorry to say that the proposal must be recreated. After the war, many buildings were obliged to recreate it. After the spontaneous fire of the castle was obliged to be recreated. The castle will be recreated with the thanks to with the fund gathered from the people who wish for the recreation. The museum recreates the lifestyles of the Edo era in a smaller scale. On a global scale, on a smaller scale. The museum reproduces the life in Edo period on a smaller scale, on a quarter scale. The museum recreates the life in Edo period, Edo era, on a smaller scale. The festival was held on a smaller scale. The castle was recreated again and again, over and over again, time and time again, over and over again, time and time again, time and again. To the best of my knowledge, the castle will be recreated. As far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, the castle will be recreated. To the full extent of my knowledge, I did my best. To the full extent of my knowledge, I worked overtime to the full extent of my energy. I worked overtime to the full extent of my energy. Many buildings were recreated. Many buildings in Japan were recreated after the collapse. Many buildings were recreated. Many buildings were recreated. Many buildings were recreated. Is it possible to recreate Edo Castle? Is it possible to recreate the Edo Castle? Many buildings were recreated. 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 I'd like to recreate what I felt in the past in music. I'd like to recreate what I felt in the past by music. I'd like to recreate my feelings by music. The museum recreates the lifestyle in Edo period on a smaller scale. The museum recreates the life and how it was going on in the life on a smaller scale. How it was going on. The museum recreates the landscape or the lifestyle of the Edo government, Edo period, on a smaller scale. The museum reproduces and recreates the landscape of the Edo period on a smaller scale. The museum recreates the life and the landscape of Edo period on a smaller scale. What is a palette included? What is a palette included? What does the palette include? What does the palette include? What is included in the palette? What is included in the palette? A palette filled with fruits was served to the bear on her birthday. A pallet of fruits was given to the white bear, to the polar bear for his birthday. A pallet of fruits was given to the polar bear for his birthday. A pallet of prawn was thrown to the sea to gather fish. The fisherman threw some pellets of shrimp to the ocean to gather fish. The fisherman threw a pellet of food to the ocean to gather fish. I used a strategy to add 2 or 3 pellets of paper to increase the fire in the charcoal fire to increase the fire to increase the power of fire in the charcoal fire to increase the power of fire in the hearth. Pellet. Have you already put forward your report to your professor? Have you already put forward your report to the professor? Have you already put it forward? Have you already put it forward? Have you already put the documents forward to your boss? I want you to put forward your opinions. I'd like you to put forward your opinion. I'd like you to put forward your opinions. 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 I want 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 you to put your opinions forward. 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 I want you to put forward your opinions. Please put forward your documents to the window seat. Please put forward the questionnaire to the window seat after filling out the documents, after filling in. I put forward the questionnaire. I filled out the question, but I forgot to put it forward. I filled in the question, but I forgot to put it forward. I filled out the questionnaire, but I forgot to put it forward. Put it forward. Have you already put it forward? I filled out the document. I filled out the blanks, but I forgot to put it forward. I did fill in the questionnaire, but I forgot to put it forward. Put forward the questionnaire. Put forward the questionnaire. I forgot to put forward the questionnaire. The festival might be put off or called off. The governor of the prefecture is of two minds whether or not the festival should be put off or called off. The governor of the prefecture is of two minds whether or not the festival should be put off. The principal of the elementary school decided to put the sports meeting off, put off the sports meeting. The mayor decided to put off the festival until December. The Tokyo Olympic has been put off until the next year, until the following year. The Tokyo Olympic, the 2020 Tokyo Olympic was put off until the following year. The 2020 Tokyo Olympic was postponed until the following year. Some people are very late to put clothes on. Some people are very late to put clothes on. Some people are very late to wear clothes, to put clothes on, put on clothes. Some people are very late to put on clothes. Some people are very late to wear clothes, put on clothes. When I was putting my shoes on, the earthquake happened, arose. When I was putting on my shoes, the earthquake arose, happened, broke out. I don't like to put on shoes every morning, which absorbs my energy, a quarter of my energy in a day. Wearing a suit every day, every morning, is such a tough. Putting on the suit every morning deprives me of my energy. Rob me of my energy. Putting on a suit every morning deprives me of my energy. Robs me of my energy. Steals my energy. Absorbs my energy. Steals my energy. Tires me a lot. I usually have a white t-shirt on. I usually have a white t-shirt on. I usually have on white t-shirt. According to the information, the suspect put red hat on. According to the information, the missing lady put red hat on. puts on red hat. According to the information, the missing girl puts on red hat. According to the information, the missing girl puts on red hat. Puts on red hat. Puts red hat on. According to the information, the lady puts on red hat. The firefighters are trying to put out the blazing fire from the house. The firefighters are putting out fire. The firefighters are trying to put out the fire from the house. The firefighters are trying to put out the fire from the house. The firefighters are putting out the fire from the house. It took almost 1 hour to put out the fire from the house. It took almost 1 hour to put out the fire, to put the fire out. The man put out the cigarette by smashing it to the road. Smashing the cigarette to the road. The man put out the cigarette by smashing it to the road. Please make sure you put out all of the fire after using the kitchen. Please make sure that you put out the fire after the BBQ. Please be sure that you put out all of the fire after the BBQ. Please be certain that please make sure all of the fires are perfectly put out after the BBQ. Please make sure that all of the fires have been put out after the BBQ. When can you put your thoughts together? I will try to put my thoughts together today and give you the answer tomorrow. I try to put my thoughts together, my opinions together, put my opinions together, put your opinions together. I will try to put my opinions together. I will put together my opinions. I will put together my opinions. Let's put together the plans. Let's put together the itinerary by today. Let's put together the proposal. Let's put together the plan today. Let's finish putting together the itinerary today. Let's put 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 together the plan today. Let's put together the plan by today. I will try to put together my opinions and give you answer tomorrow. Hopefully. I will put together my opinions today and hopefully I can give you the answer tomorrow. I will put together my opinions and thoughts and hopefully I can give you the answer. I will put together the opinions, put together the opinions, put together the opinions. I will put together my opinions. I will put together my opinions. I will try I will try to put together my opinions and give you, hopefully I can give you the answer tomorrow. You don't have to see me off at the airport because it's very far from our places. From our place to the airport. You don't have to see me off at the airport because it's too far. I can go on my own. I can go on my own. I can go to the airport on my own. I can go to the airport on my own. I can go to the airport on my own. I saw many people sing of the musician. I saw many fans sing of the musician. I saw many people gathering to see of the musician. I saw many fans sing of the musician. I saw many fans gathering to see of the musician. I'd like to see you off at the airport. I'd like to see you off at the airport. My foreign friends saw me off at the station. My foreign friends saw me off at the airport. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.